everybody, Gannon here, back again with another one of my Star Trek reviews. Thankfully, Season 4 of Discovery has wrapped up, so I am done stressing out about reviewing 2 episodes of Star Trek back-to-back within like a 24-hour period. Today's episode of Star Trek Picard, it's the third one, Season 2, Episode 3, this one titled Assimilation. This episode is just like the previous 2 episodes of Star Trek Picard. It's absolute flames. This episode is so good. I just believe it pays so much homage in a way to one of my favorite episodes of Star Trek ever, the 2-parter Future's End from the Voyager series. I loved that 2-parter so much, how Janeway and the crew were all wearing 80s outfits and they were battling Voyager Elon Musk to save the future. It was absolutely amazing, and so was today's episode. They go to current day, almost 2024 in our timeline. There's a lot of commentary about the world we live in. There's homeless people. There's people from the future looking down on us and saying, hey, look at this really crazy, contradictive, hyper-capitalist society where they don't actually treat people and animals as, you know, living beings. They treat them more so as products. So much going on wrong in our current time, and it is just beautiful to see through the perspective and lens of Trek, and especially in today's episode of Star Trek Picard, just like what a high-budget Star Trek episode in 2022 should look like right here, people. Season 2, Episode 3, Assimilation. Let's get right into it. The episode starts off extremely saucy, okay? In the last episode, you remember Eleanor does get shot in the shoulder by the Confederation husband counterpart to 7 of 9. 7 of 9 is the Confederation president, and her husband boarded the La Serena and shot Eleanor in the shoulder. 7 of 9, Rafi, and them take care of the Confederation magistrate and then also his goons. They vaporize them. But right after that, extremely shocking, Eleanor actually does die. They're not trolling. I honestly thought that Eleanor was going to be patched up and he's probably going to be down bad for an episode or 2, but no, an extremely crazy turn of events. Rafi holding on to Eleanor, trying to patch up his wound, not being able to get power to the medbay because the Borg Queen is basically using it to save herself. So Eleanor just bleeds out and dies, and it's a really, really dramatic scene. I am just weirdly pleased about it. I do not think that Eleanor is going to stay dead for the rest of the series. They kind of even imply in this episode, Rafi asks if they restore the timeline, will Eleanor somehow come back? And then you've also heard me talk about Q can just control life and death. There is actually a quote of him from The Next Generation where he's like, oh, Picard, I can take your life away and give it right back to you in a blink of an eye. I feel like if they complete their mission, they repair the timeline, that it's not just going to be like Eleanor is replaced by some time counterpart. I believe that Q will actually intervene and revive Eleanor and bring him back to life. But it was an extremely dramatic scene. It was very well done. And something I've just got to say about this episode, just before we get into anything else, is that I am extremely content with the writing. If you guys just listen to the dialogue in this episode, it is so good. Everything that they mention, everything they talk about is just brought up so tastefully. The words just flow, you know what I mean? It's not written by a bunch of dinguses, you know, like the occasional Discovery writing. Okay, this is a really good writing here. It's just solid. I love Rafi's grief in this episode. So Eleanor, unfortunately, he hits the can for now at least, and the Borg Queen successfully travels them through time so that they could get away from the Confederation, and then they end up crash landing into 2024 Los Angeles. Then they suit up. Rafi at this point is extremely grief-stricken. She is totally emotional and just wants to get on with this mission so that she can see like some potential of saving Eleanor. They all get into, you know, non-conspicuous clothing. They got to blend in because they are on a quest to find this individual known as the Watcher, and the Watcher is this person that the Borg Queen told Picard would be able to explain the divergence in time and actually allow them to complete this very vague, mysterious mission that Q has sent them upon. Rafi and 7 attempt to find the Watcher by going to like the highest point in all of Los Angeles and using scanning equipment, and there's this really funny scene where they have to convince convince a security guard to let them go up and do it because they're just random women. But of course, because they're attractive random women, just be like, hey man, don't be lame, be cool, be cooler than Kevin. You just want to be like a cool security guard. It's really good. There's a lot of great interactions this scene. It is totally just fuming with Future's End vibes. This is literally Future's End, but in 2022. Ah, it's so good. This episode is so great. Rios, on the other hand, gets the short end of the stick, hilariously just gets beamed on a catwalk and just hits his head and drops at least 2 stories and has a concussion, needs to be wheeled off to a local clinic. Now, because Rios is from the future, he doesn't carry any official form of identification. They just assume that Rios is either an illegal or a criminal, but thankfully Rios has ended up at this very nice, wholesome, humble clinic ran by this extremely attractive doctor. Oh my... I do not remember her name. I'm so sorry for the life of me. I do not remember her name, but does it really matter? She is just the female character who's extremely fine that, you know, whenever a Star Trek character goes back in time, for some reason, somebody among the cast has to like almost fall in love with somebody or have some kind of relationship in the past. Like even in the Troubles with Tribbles DS9 remake, there was this little scene where Dr. Bashir was almost going to bang his potential great-great-great-grandmother, and then also Edith Keller, and now we have Rios totally having this chemistry with this extremely attractive doctor. And I was just wondering, the first thing I was going to ask when they put Rios in a hospital was, are they going to bring up healthcare? Are they going to give him this fat ass bill and be like, yo, you need to pay for this shit? But no, this very nice, attractive doctor who runs this clinic and helps people no matter their situation, she just told Rios that she would treat him for free. Rios gets his communicator stolen by the son of this very hot, attractive doctor, and he has to, you know, go around the rest of the episode interacting with people. It's solid. I love every character arc this episode. Every single one of them is really great. There's this scene also where Rafi beats up a hobo slash thief. It's also good. I just feel like doing time travel in a modern Trek show, they've done a really good job. Give them a pat on the back because this episode just made me smile. It actually made great feelings come from within my body. Agnes's story arc this episode, she doesn't go down and explore Los Angeles with the rest of the crew. She stays aboard with Picard because they need to revive the Borg Queen in order to be able to find the Watcher. After the time jump, the Borg Queen has basically turned into a vegetable. She's like unconscious. There's some form of consciousness in there somewhere, but because she's not able to communicate with any form of a hive mind, she's just, you know, knocking on the door, but nobody's home. Agnes comes up with the idea and she tells Picard, hey, why don't we come up with like a little mini link and I slightly half get assimilated so that I'm able to enter the subconscious of the Queen and maybe I'll be able to revive her, and not only that, gain control of the ship, maybe even get some of the information that we need. And then they just boop, plug her in with a USB-C cord. It is amazing. I love Agnes this season. She is so great. She is such a personable character. I also have to stress, the cast of Star Trek Picard is great. Every single one of them is a great actor. I really don't harbor any negative feelings for any of them, except for maybe Soji. I'm very much like weirdly happy that Soji is not a part of this. Do you know what I mean? There's really no need for her to be. I don't know. I just feel like things would be a little bit weirder if Soji were here. I feel like I'm very much content with Agnes, Rafi, Elnor used to be here, R.I.P, and Rios and Picard. I really love all of them. There's so many scenes this episode where Agnes is searching through the subconscious of the Borg Queen and she is letting some of her subconscious thoughts flow out as she's connected to this USB-C cord as she's relaying them to Picard. It's extremely funny, everything she says. At the end of the episode, Agnes actually does get and steal the information from inside the Borg Queen, and the Borg Queen is like, what the hell? Dude, did you really just do that? You have done something that you have no idea what you've just done. Borg Queen goes like, you've actually managed to impress me. So cool. It was so cool. It made Agnes actually seem like a badass, how she was able to go in there, cat burglar, and steal the information they needed from the Borg Queen. If she didn't do that, then the Borg Queen would have been holding all the chips. At the end of this episode, you finally see the Borg Queen kind of revert back to her evil, conniving self about how she really likes to be in control of the situation. Even though she's an integral part of this mission, I feel like maybe if she had the opportunity, she would just seize control of everything, just turn this point in the timeline to like a new Borg collective and just start fresh from here. And something that's really funny at the end of the episode, Agnes Jurati tells Picard that she has like a folder saved that is just labeled shit I stole from the Borg Queen, and when she said that, I absolutely lost it. Agnes Jurati is P this season. In the final moments of the episode, like I said, Agnes Jurati gets that information from the Queen, and now they're probably going to go use that in combination with any information Raffi and Seven have found to find this Watcher, and I'm very much interested to find out who this Watcher is. I think it would be so cool if they were some sort of legacy character that maybe has been trapped through time in some fashion, or it's very much possible that this Watcher is Gannon. I mean, Gannon was on Earth during the Mark Twain era from that 1-2-parter where they find Data's head in San Francisco, so the Watcher could easily be Gannon. Would like it to be one of those two answers. I mean, what if it's just a completely new character? I don't know if that would make a lot of sense. If it is a completely new character, I hope they are extremely cool. Rios, at the end of the episode, hilariously, the clinic is now being bombarded by ICE. Literally, like, the police are coming in. You're like, come in, we know you have illegals in there, and they bust down the door. Rios, foolish, does not understand anything. He really should have ran, okay? This doctor definitely is a citizen, but he is not a citizen. Rios, if he had any understanding of the situation, he should have just dipped and came back later. But he got himself in a pickle. He went to go help and assist the doctor combat the effing police, which you cannot do. If Rios did anything to those police, they're American police officers, of course. Rios would have been shot 36 times in the chest and would have been killed. Really loved how assholish they painted the police and ICE in this episode. You know what I mean? I'm Gen Z. I don't particularly like the police system, especially in America. It is undisputably trash. So I would like them to do more of this, talking about current world issues while they're in the 21st century. I'd very much like them to talk about healthcare a little bit and how it is very much a business in America, and I would also like them to keep on painting the cops like the assholes they are, because the cops in America do benefit from a totally corrupt system. People who are sworn an oath to protect and serve and uphold like a long list of very intricate rights and regulations are people who also don't have the diligence to even finish high school. You could just get your GED and become a cop. So yeah, there's huge policing issues in America, and especially in this time period, and hopefully they'll bring up more of it. I very much loved this episode. It was so good. Future's End. I loved all the scenes. I loved all the cinematography, them filming around Los Angeles. It all looked so good. This episode, honestly, for some weird reason, I'm just gonna give it like a 9 out of 10. I have no complaints. I thoroughly enjoyed every goddamn second of this episode. The bold decision to kill Eleanor right now is also very P. I am very interested to know who the Watcher is. Sorry if this review is kind of scuffed, by the way. A little bit tired. I was extremely busy today. Next review will be a lot better because, like I said again, we will be reviewing 2 Trek episodes in a span of 24 hours. But with all that being said, who do you guys think the Watcher is? I really want to know your guess. Literally any guess. Leave it down below. With all that being said, if you guys enjoy the content that you see on the channel, I'd be very flattered if you were to subscribe. When I get 1,000 subscribers, I am going to get a neck tattoo. So if you would like to see me potentially embarrass myself, be sure to hit that big red button. If you would like to discuss any of the topics that we discuss on this channel, be sure to join my Discord. The link is in the bottom of every video. And with all that being said, hope you guys have a good rest of your week. Live long and prosper. Can I